Hey everyone, it's Presley at ActOutGames.com here, and today we are going to be talking about combustion, specifically air fuel mixture. So for our first demonstration, we are going to show you how explosive flour or coffee creamer can be. So don't do this at home, it's dangerous, but if you think about doing it, have safety goggles and a fire extinguisher at hand. Here I go. I'm really nervous. So as you can see, nothing really happened, and that's because the ratio from the oxygen and the flour, coffee creamer, we're using coffee creamer, and when we lit it on fire, the oxygen can only reach like the top layer, so only a tiny bit of it burned. So that's why that was happening. But if you can find a way to spread it out and get more of the oxygen to be able to touch the coffee creamer, then it looks really cool. So we just went outside and we tested that out, and here's what happened. So as you can see, that's a pretty different effect, and thanks to our friend Steve Spangler, he showed us how to do this. Last time we did it with just a funnel, and it wasn't as cool, and it was more dangerous, but Steve Spangler showed us, and you just can get a hose and zip tie it to a lighter, and when you light the lighter and you blow through here, it'll blow whatever in the tube out and spread it out. So we just put a little bit of this coffee creamer into here and blew through and lit the lighter, and that happened. Pretty cool, right? Steve Spangler showed us another really cool experiment, but for that I need my dad's help because I can't quite do it myself. So this thing uses the same principles as the last one, except we are using alcohol instead of coffee creamer. So Daddy, can you explain to us what we have in front of us?
Yeah, sure. So we got a little bowl of regular rubbing alcohol, which as you probably know is a little more flammable than the coffee creamer that we just used. In some cases, when it's sitting like this, it's more flammable. When you spread them out, they're actually pretty close, right? As we've seen too. We've got this little bulb syringe kind of thing. It's a car battery recharger.
Yes.
And so it usually, when you buy it, it'll have a long stem on it, and you can use it to sort of take the battery acid out of a battery, or take the fluid out of a battery. So you can just buy it at an auto parts store. It just costs a few bucks. And then we got this little
lantern
yeah, it's a spark igniter is what it's called. And so it's for a lantern, like the old Coleman lanterns. You put this inside, and when you spin it,
I can't spin it.
you get a spark. And it makes little smoke rings too, which is really cool. We need to do some research on why it makes smoke rings when you do it. But it's just a little like inside of a lighter, you know, a little flint strike thing. But so that makes a spark. And so basically I poked a hole in the bulb and put this inside. And so now I can make a spark inside of the thing, right? And this happens to be sort of the same size as a ping pong ball, so you can snugly put a ping pong ball in there. And whoever figured that out, kudos. I don't know if it was somebody on Steve Spangler's team or somebody else that they learned it from, but whoever figured out that you can do this. So you can actually make this. You can take this whole assembly here and not use this. Just put a ping pong ball in there and squeeze it, and it'll shoot the ping pong ball out. And so you can make these little ping pong poppers and shooters with these things. Cooper loved running around and playing with this before we did that, right? Now, before I put the ping pong ball on here, I put like 15 drops of alcohol down in the bottom. And so while we've been sitting here, the alcohol has been dissolving and sort of evaporating in here. And so it's vaporizing. And so it's becoming a vapor, almost like when you blew the flour up in the air, right? So there's a vapor in here that's got a good air fuel mixture, and now I've got a thing that I can go inside here and make a spark. Ooh. So what do you think is going to happen when I make a spark?
It just goes poop, pop us out because the spark will explode the gas, and the explosion causes the ping pong ball to go pop.
Yep, it's going to make a little explosion. Ready? Let's see how it works.
I'm going to lean away.
1, 2, 3.
Oh! That one went up in the rafters.
So pretty cool, huh? Like this is even cooler than squeezing it and popping it. Let's see if I can do it again. Ready?
It went in the rafters.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, that one wasn't as cool.
Yeah, so you see the longer it stays in there, like the first one was really explosive, right? Because I left it in there and it was vaporizing, and so you built a lot of vapor up in there. And then that one burned off all the vapor, so when I put it back in and lit it again, it didn't go as hard because not enough vapor had built up inside. Pretty cool, huh? So why don't you show us what happens like when we did the flour if we just have a little bowl of alcohol here.
Okay. Got it. let me get this lit.
Okay.
And I put it in alcohol. Whoops, that didn't
See?
work.
I mean, even like putting a match in the alcohol, sometimes it puts it out because
Sometimes.
yeah, there's not enough oxygen. Okay, you do it again.
Yeah. Sometimes it does another thing, which we're gonna try and show you.
Okay, try that one. So the trick is, so what's going on here, right? Is you're putting the match down in the alcohol.
Oh.
And down there's no oxygen, right? And so it can't burn. So you're not actually trying to light the alcohol that's sitting in there. What are you trying to light?
Oh, I'm trying to light like the top layer.
You're trying to light the vapor, right? Let me see. Hold on.
Can I try it after this?
So if you light the vapor that's on top of the alcohol, you can get that to burn. See, now it's burning. And so just the top level of the alcohol is evaporating and creating a vapor, and that burns. But if you put it all the way down in the alcohol, it goes out. Cool, yeah? Awesome. All right, so...
I want my birthday candles just to be these, sitting on our cake.
Just alcohol. We'll just pour alcohol on your cake.
No.
Rubbing alcohol.
No, just take like little Easter eggs and fill them with alcohol and like it go like whoop.
No, so that's cool. It shows you that even though this is very flammable, sitting like this, and like I've seen it with cans of gasoline, like from the car. People like flick cigarettes into the cans of gasoline, and they'll go in the gasoline and go out, like it won't set on fire and stuff. That always really freaked me out the first time I saw that. But it's the same kind of thing. If you don't have the fixture, and so that's what the carburetor does in your car, right? Is it takes the gas and it makes it a big cloud, like we did with the flour, or the baking soda, or not the baking soda, the coffee creamer.
Coffee creamer.
Yeah, it makes it into a big cloud, and then that can explode inside your car and make your car run. If you just poured gas into the cylinder and tried to light it, you wouldn't get the same explosion because it has to have the air fuel mixture, right? And you know what would be really cool?
What?
If we had like some really cool way to show people how this all works.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I made an animation that you guys can see.
Yeah, so let's roll that animation and it'll show a little bit more detail what's going on here.
Yes, I spent a lot of time on that, so hopefully you guys like it.
Cool. All right.
So if you want to make a fire, there's one thing that you need to know, and that is that you need 3 things to make a fire. And those 3 things are heat, which can be caused from friction, or it can be caused from an already existing flame or a spark. Fuel, which is easy, it's just whatever you're trying to burn. And oxygen, which is also pretty easy, it's always floating around in the air. So you combine those 3 things and you get a fire. But when you try and burn something like a pile of flour or just some alcohol that's just sitting there, then you burn the top layer because that's all the oxygen can get to. And then you burn the second layer and the third layer and on like an onion. So you can't burn the whole thing in one go, but when you spread some things out, it becomes a perfect mix of fuel and oxygen, and the oxygen can get to all the pieces of fuel and it's ready to burn, and you add the heat, then it starts, and then one little part of the cloud lights on fire, and then the heat from that fire lights the next part and the next part and the next part until it explodes in a big explosion and it all got burned. I hope you like that, and I hope you understand how fire works a little more. So be for sure, if you're going to do this, probably don't do it. It's really dangerous. But be sure to have your safety goggles and have a fire extinguisher, and if you're young, if you have an adult with you. So there's also a really cool YouTube video on it. It's called the Flame Challenge, and it's whoever can explain fire to kids the best. So they made this really cool video, what is fire, and there'll be a link in the doobly-doo to that. So hopefully you guys liked the video and the animation and you thought some of the stuff was cool. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye!
It's time to press the subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe button. Subscribe. Bye 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 bye.